hopefully going to shape up to be something pretty special. Murray project is coming to an end. It's going to be finishing soon, and one thing that's been notable throughout the whole series, reading comments, is everybody says, what about all these other cars we're seeing in the background? Are you going to do a video series on those? And it would be completely impractical and, you know, beyond our financial means to do a video on every car we did. But we've been thinking about following on with another project after the Murray project and trying to choose the best project for that. And we've decided on this Mark II Jag, which is the latest arrival here. And it's been a really cool project already to be involved with, in that the guy we're doing it for came to us with almost a complete open mind, blank canvas. He didn't have a car, he didn't know what car he wanted. We just discussed all the sorts of cars that he'd seen that he quite liked the look of, and kind of reasons why he might want a certain type of car and what he wanted to use it for. And sort of went away with a couple of ideas. Talked about maybe an XJ or another XJ coupe, which we've done one of before. And then kind of toed and froed a bit and eventually said, how about doing a Mark II? And we kind of all settled on this idea of doing a Mark II, but doing one that was really different to any of the other Mark IIs out there. And being a kind of British classic, there's always a bit of a stuck in their ways way of doing these cars, and the race cars were obviously really famous back in the day, and there's a certain way they look with the slim rear arches on them. And we wanted to do something that just went away from your typical Mark II Jag or even a modified Mark II Jag, but didn't look kind of over the top and too modern. So we kind of came up with this concept of doing a car inspired by the sort of concept cars of the 50s and 60s, when aerodynamics were kind of the in thing, you know, up and coming, and all the concept cars were focusing on aerodynamics. There was a concept car that Jag did before the Mark I, which was called Project Utah, and we've decided to call this project Project Utah. And we've done the initial design renderings, which I've just taped on the back of here. But you can see we're kind of going down this fully enclosed rear wheel, smoothing a lot of things out. Not like changing the body shape completely, just smoothing it out and giving it that kind of streamliner look from mid-century time. You can see on the rear, we've gone for the fully enclosed arches, which actually the Mark I did have. We wanted to do a sort of bigger diameter version of the original steels. So we're going to go for 17-inch steel wheels on it, but with either the original chrome caps or a remade version of them. And then on the rear, we're going to do a little embossed circle, which has the central part of the hubcap on there with the Jaguar badge over it, just as a little sort of nod to the front, almost as if you can see through to the wheel, but it'll be actually mounted on the cover. The main areas of redesign are the shape at the back end and at the front. The boot lid we're completely smoothing out and getting rid of the plinth where there's normally a number plate. We're going to make a complete one-off aluminium skin for that. And then we're going to do billet lamp surrounds on the back with just a single round lamp, and then totally reshape the body line from sort of under the boot lid down to give it a rolled in rear valance, and which will then also work with the revised bumper design that we're doing, which is going to be quite slim, possibly flushed into an aperture. We're not quite sure yet whether to do that or whether to mount it on the surface. And then we're going to have the number plate lights on the inside edges of those to light the number plate, which will sit between the quarter bumpers. And then on the front, similar quarter bumper design, changing all of the bodywork from there down basically to get rid of the flange that's normally there and create a nice smooth in-turn valance. We're getting rid of the side markers on top of the wings, getting rid of the indicators that normally sit here. There's going to be an indicator in the headlight, but also an additional wider mounted one on the bumper there. These driving lights that would normally be here are going to be air intakes. One of these will route cold air directly to the carbs rather than it having to rather than intaking warm air after the radiator. And then we're going to do a billet radiator surround that kind of rolls in and has a grill mounted on the back of it, just to try and smooth everything out. And the headlights themselves, rather than having a chrome bezel around them, they're going to be body coloured, but we're going to basically make a billet piece at the front there with a bezel that's painted and bolts on in a more convincing fashion than the flimsy old light bezels that were on there originally. So it looks like a complete smooth painted mount for the light there. And then other than that, it's just subtle changes. And because the customer was completely open-minded about every detail of it, absolutely no brand loyalty whatsoever, wants to use it all the time and was interested in the noise, we had a blank canvas with the engine choice, and we wanted to make it 6-cylindered, so it's got that kind of unmistakable Jag 6-cylinder noise. But although the XK6 engine that these had originally is a great engine, we just felt, you know, building a sort of new interpretation of a Mark II with a 1960s engine was kind of against everything we stand for. So we thought we'll come up with a straight 6 engine that's a more modern engine, probably not brand new, but you know, a more modern engine design. And kind of went all around houses, looked at BMW M series engines, looked at Nissan RBs, eventually settled on a Toyota 2JZ. For a number of reasons. It sits upright, it's not canted over, which I think is going to look nice in the engine bay. It's got quite a simple rocker cover design, and we're thinking about polishing up those rockers to almost give it a cosmetic nod to the original. We're going to run it naturally aspirated, not turbo, and run it on Gen V Heritage throttle bodies, so it looks kind of classic with like it's on triple Webers under there, but it'll be, you know, a relatively modern 3-litre twin cam Japanese power plant, which I think will hopefully do exactly what we want it to do. Be a nice, reliable, fairly torquey, you know, straight 6, but be a bit more top-endy, a bit more of a screamer than the old XK6 engine, and just have some more modern technology in it. It's going to be a regular used car again. It's not going to be the customer's only car, but he plans to use it. He doesn't want to be scared of using it in the rain. You know, he wants to use it any weather. He's planning on just leaving it on the drive. He's not got a garage to put it in. So yeah, although he won't use it every day, he fully intends to go out in the evening in it, go out at the weekends in it, and just use it like a typical second car. So which is the thing I like most. I mean, that's why Gordon's was cool as well, with the intention of using the car regularly. It's nice, the challenge of building a car to a standard where it not only looks good, but also functions well, and you know you can use it confidently without it deteriorating, you know, in whatever the weather.
So it should be an exciting build?
Yeah, really exciting, yeah. It's kind of at that sort of design, you know, your brain's spinning at this stage in a project of all the sort of how we're going to do all the design features on it, and you know, a lot of sort of talk between myself and Stu, who's doing the metalwork on it, about exactly how we're going to achieve certain things on it. And then we'll be moving, you know, the thought process will be kind of moving on to the interior changes as well, because at this stage we need to plan any changes to the metalwork inside to work with the revised interior design, because we're going to totally redesign the dash, and it'll have a modern heating and ventilation system in it. So all of the metal structure in the front there is likely to be removed and changed. The engine we haven't got yet, although hopefully that'll be here in the next week or two. And then we'll be doing that sort of, again, exciting point where you don't have to take so much care. We call it dangle and chop, where you just swing the engine and gearbox in and cut out everything that's in the way. And then start working on, you know, getting it mounted properly and engineering all of the sort of surrounding metalwork so it all works nicely. And then sort of moving on to the details of the engine bay to get rid of any brackets and holes and things that we don't need, and add ones to work with what we are putting in there. So it's kind of that exciting phase where all of the ideas are bouncing around and it's a lot of creativity going. So yeah, it's hopefully going to shape up to be something pretty special, and that's going to be the basis for the next series. So I hope you enjoy it. But other than that, I think I reckon it'll make 300 horsepower easy.
Through the rear wheels, and then through the covers all the smoke.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we'll have to put smoke ducts in the covers to get the tyre smoke out.